Nicole was a vibrant, fun, loving, raspy voiced, beautiful little girl.
Nicole was definitely full of curiosity, very bright, very sociable. Everyone just really enjoys being around her. She's so kind and so funny. People are drawn to her immediately.
Always loving and wonderful, funny, just an overall good girl.
It's just so funny, the sequence of events that happened and that occurred in that first hour that made all the difference for me still being here right now, sitting here talking. I was up north Wisconsin. So it was like a normal, fun family weekend, and we were on our way back. Pull into a gas station, and my friend says he's going to the bathroom, and I said I was going to go in to get a snack. I go in, and I collapse. They started doing CPR, and they hit you with epinephrine because they realized I was in cardiac arrest. And then they do the shock, and I would come back, and I would go right back into ventricular fibrillation, which is what my heart, the deathly heart rhythm my heart went into.
The hospital is trying to call us. They want to let us know that they're going to intubate her. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, don't send her anywhere until I get there. I need to get there. I need to kiss her or do something. I don't know what's going on, but it doesn't sound very good. And I'm talking to a flight nurse, and what could happen to somebody to make them go from giving me a smooch when I left the room to having to go into an airplane?
They put a machine in my heart called an Impella, and it basically pumps the heart when the heart can't. So they put it in me, thinking they were going to fly me to freighter from Wausau. It wasn't cleared for flight. So they had to drive me in an ambulance 4.5 hours from Wausau to Milwaukee, with everybody's fingers crossed that I didn't code in the ambulance. And I didn't. It's a miracle in and of itself.
Once we got in there, it was the worst day of my life. The next thing I knew, there was like this light going off and this alarm sounding off, and it was a code. They were calling a code on my daughter. I remember the lady came and got me and brought me back there. And I remember the lady doing CPR on her was crying because she didn't want her to die. This little girl that she had no connection to, she knew nothing about her. But she was doing everything she could. The next thing I knew, the machine was like, because her heart came back, and they did CPR on her 40 times that day. She was going septic, and her kidneys were failing, and one option that we could go with were to amputate her legs. I just knew, that she would survive her legs gone, if that meant that she would be here another day for us to love her.
The room was dark, and I couldn't lift my arms up, couldn't do anything. And I remember opening my eyes and being like, all I saw was lights, blinking lights. But I remember like trying to tell the nurse, like, this bed is so short, my legs are dangling. They're dangling off the bed. Why are my legs dangling? That was a really tough day when I realized that my legs were gone. But little did I know that my life was about to be something I never could have imagined.
10 months later, at a boot camp run by the prosthetics company, Hanger, learning to walk, even dance again.
Since her brush with death last summer, Nicole has been traveling the country, attending amputee conferences and camps. Nicole won't let anything stand in the way of her dreams.
Nicole Grehn.
If someone came up to me and said, Nicole, I will give you your legs back, but you will have to sacrifice everyone you've met and everything you've done, I would never take my legs back at the expense of everything that I have done and all the people that I've met. I work at the place that saved my life. And because of Freighter, I met the American Heart Association. Telling your story is the most powerful thing you can do. That's what makes change. That's what empowers others to then tell their story. That's what the American Heart Association has done. So that's what I would say to women, We have to empower each other by being vulnerable and by telling our stories. And through that, you heal. My name is Nicole Grehn, and I am living proof that life after cardiac illness is not the end. Because if you open your heart, it's just the beginning.